What's up, guys? Joe Holland here. Let's talk Ned rigs. I'm sure you heard of this by now. If you haven't, it's a technique that by no means is new to the world. It's been around, I guess, Midwest for many years, and guys even in the Northeast have been using it for years, just calling it different things. What it is basically a really small jig head with just a little tiny piece of do-nothing plastic on it. The one I've been using today, this is it right here, this one is actually the Z-Man head and the Z-Man body. This is like a TRD, they call it. Now, the only thing about this plastic is it's kind of a pain in the neck to thread on there, but this one right here has caught several 4-pounders on it already. So it lasts, you know, it's got that elastic on there. You could use basically anything. You could use the back of a Senko, you could use the back of a Gambler Ace, you could use any kind of straight tail worm. What you're looking for is something with not a lot of action. This bait itself just kind of twirls down, and you can kind of flick it a little bit. You know, you cut off the back of those, or you could use the whole thing, but you're looking for something small that the fish is going to eat, you know, one bite, not mess around, get it in there and be able to set the hook. It's something you entice them to bite when they're not active, even if they're negative or neutral. It's a technique that works whether you're 50 foot deep or 5 foot deep. I'll show you a couple of the heads that I've been using. You know, I like just about everything that I've tried so far. As long as it has a strong hook for such a little thing, that's all that really matters to me, and a sharp hook. But there's some really funky weights out there, like 1/20th, 1/32nd, 1/5. Basically, you find what you like. You know, if I'm going to go deep, I found a couple from Berkeley that I like a lot. This is actually a 1/4 ounce. It's the Berkeley half head jig heads. I'm pretty sure it was made for this, but that's a 1/4 ounce right there. And here's a 3/8 ounce. So 3/8 is pretty heavy for a Ned rig. But if you're fishing 50 foot deep, like where I'm finding them today, you know, that's actually a pretty good weight right there. So it's got a nice strong hook on it, short shank, and, you know, pretty strong head. So that's the Ned Lock by I think Z-Man, or the Z-Man Ned Lock is another really good one. That's the one I'm using right now. It's got a little weight on the hook shank itself, just a small little weight, and the size of the head actually fits the size of most of those plastics that I was talking about. You know, you could use a little round head. I've used these for years. That's a Gamakatsu with a round head on it. And then another one that I like a lot that's actually weedless is this Kitech. They just call it a mono guard jig head, like a multi-use, but it works really well for Ned rigging if you're around a lot of rocks or any sticky situations, or around a lot of wood or brush. It's just got one weed guard coming off it, like a plastic weed guard. There it is. But it's got a super sharp hook, and that hook's a lot stronger than it looks. I've pulled big sticks off the bottom with it, and you know, caught a lot of big fish on it. It's just got that one weed guard. So if you're looking for one with a weed guard, that little Kitech mono guard jig head has worked really well for me. With your rod, what you want to do is a little tiny bit of action up top goes a long way down bottom. So, you know, what I do is I'll let it get down there, and then I'll just kind of pick it up and feel for when that fish is on. You know, sometimes you can kind of flick it a little bit if they're a little bit more active, and see if there's anything that's gonna bite or entice a bite. But for the most part, I'm just kind of picking it up and feeling it, similar to as you would like a drop shot. You know, rods and reels, I've pretty much always thrown this on a spinning reel, just because it's pretty much a finesse technique, and there's no real reason to throw it on bait caster. You know, you want something with light action, medium light action. I'm throwing it on 6-pound test. I have a 6-pound test leader going to braided line. If I wanted to throw like a lighter weight and still get it to go down as deep as I'm fishing today, I would throw it just on straight fluoro. But I like that braid. You know, it makes it even more sensitive. I have like a 10 to 15 foot fluorocarbon leader on there, 6-pound going to 10-pound braid. So that's what I'm throwing it on my rod. This is the Lew's custom speed stick, the custom light. This is a drop shot rod, so this is actually a really light action. It's got a pretty fast tip, light action, and that's what you want for this. So, you know, the hook isn't that big, and you want to be able to feel that thing. So you want a rod that's super sensitive, has a lot of give to it, and, you know, play your drag a lot. As far as the hook set goes, it's just like a sweeping, you know, reel down into it and pull, similar to, like I said, you would for drop shotting or or any other finesse technique you're using. You're not really snapping that hook set, or you're not jerking on it either. It's just, you know, that hook is small, but it's super sharp. So all you have to do is put some pressure on it, and either reel into it if you're worried about the fish coming up on you, like these big smallies do that are down deep. You know, you got to reel into it super fast and just kind of lift into it, and the hook's already set. The fish sets itself. So that's pretty much it for the Ned rig. You know, not a lot of action, gets you a ton of bites. You know, you don't need to put a lot of action in this to get a lot of action on the tip of that rod. Really cool technique to put some fish in the boat on a tough day or under tough conditions and get you those limit fish, or even put some giants in. So let's see how it works. Big one. Big one. Old Netty. Old Ned rig. Guys, when the conditions get tough, sometimes you gotta do it. You gotta downsize, you gotta throw these little tiny baits. That little Ned rig right there just got me a really nice bite on a super tough day. Let's see if we can get him in the boat. He's halfway across the lake right now, I think. Oh, coming up. I think I turned. This guy's fighting like he's huge, but I don't think he's much over 4 pounds. We'll see. You give these fish that much room to run in the deep water, first thing they do is come up and see what hooked them, and then they go for a run. He's holding the bottom pretty good. We got about 35 foot of water. He's out in about 60. Pounder. Nice brownie right there. Chomping on that Ned rig. Like I said, tough times. Don't be afraid to downsize. Don't be afraid to throw something a little bit smaller. It's going to put something bigger in the boat for you. There he is. Nice Maine smallmouth, about a 4 pounder. Awesome fight. They don't fight any harder than that, I'll tell you that. This one in real quick. I don't think that'd help us today. That's what you get for messing around with those little tiny hooks. Not a bad smallmouth though. Let's get him down so we don't have to fizz him. I think I had another bite the cast before that too. Usually you don't miss them on a Ned rig. I don't advise swinging big fish in the boat on a Ned rig. The hook's tiny on this thing. And if you're using a pretty lightweight pole and light line like this, it's back. I think that's small. Yep, a small one. They sure are fun when you got to put fish in the boat. Tough day, we'll take it. Oh, it's puking. Easy. This bait will put giants in your boat. Look at that thing. there's no discerning with the thing. You can't only catch big ones. You're gonna catch some of those. That's a good one. Got a good one on the Ned Rig. Here he is, coming up. These smallies are all coming up. Guys, even if it's tough conditions, even if the fish are negative or not biting, you can still salvage an awesome day by finessing these things. You know, move out a little deeper. Oh, you're gonna jump into the boat. That was awesome. Don't be afraid to drop down. I know you call them a fairy wand, sissy stick, whatever you want, but here's another 4-pound smallie for you. At the end of the day, we're over 20 pounds right now, all brown fish. That's a fat, healthy fish right there. Let's get it. You're done. You just don't know it. Another good one on the Ned rig. There it is. This one's the Z-Man Z-Lock head with a TRD. That's another big smallmouth. Another 4-pounder. Like I said, you know, it's not the strongest thing or the coolest thing or the most powerful thing, but if it puts big fish in the boat, who cares? Ned rig, and that's it. It's amazing that such a small little do-nothing lure can catch such big fish. Guys, if you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button, share it with your buddies, tell your friends about it, and tune in for more. There's going to be a lot more techniques like this coming up.